Hey everyone, welcome to the Grizzled Warmaster, our new gaming channel. My name is Doug, and today we're going to be looking at the Sentinels of the Multiverse new character review for Benchmark. As I did for Stuntman, I'm going to make a video that just kind of goes over the general idea of how Benchmark plays, and I have put him on a team that will kind of extend the game a little bit to be able to see how he works a little more fully. As you can see, I've got two tanking type characters and then two support type characters. That'll leave Benchmark a lot of room to work. I've also built a team, a bad guy team, that will show off some of what he can do. So we'll have some stuff like Ermine, who can mess with his ongoings and equipment that he puts out. So he'll have to mitigate that. We've got Glamour right out the bat, shows how he can deal damage multiple times to get through targets. Both her and Ermine will have stuff that redirects damage, so we might be able to do something there. And just a few other characters that will tend to extend the game, but not like just plow through me. So without further ado, then let's go ahead and get into this. Like I did with the Stuntman video, I'm going to play all the way through this first turn with everybody. Then I will pretty much skip around until I get to Stuntman to show what he's doing. Maybe occasionally when something happens that is significant to how Stuntman plays on a bad guy turn or something, then I'll go ahead and switch over. Now, I believe Benchmark is the highest health guy, so he got the living paycheck, so he's Greaser's target here. We'll see how that affects him. Let's go ahead and then start with Team Leader Tachyon. In my opinion, probably the best character in the game. She is the ultimate support character. It makes everyone tons better. With this cool ability, everybody draws a card. So you can very quickly get to all of your coolest cards with all of your guys. This will help us get through Benchmark's deck and be able to see a lot of his cool cards. He plays very unique, and when we get to him, I'll show you how exactly that works. He's definitely a different kind of character. The first time I played a game with both him and Stuntman on the same team, and I played through, I was kind of like, I'm not sure I like how this guy plays. I didn't like the general idea of him. However, now that I've played with him a few times to kind of get an idea of how he plays, he's very interesting. Now, much like Captain Cosmic or Argent Adept here, he does take some time to get going, to get rolling. He's got to get some synergy going. But absent that, I really like the way he plays. It's very cool. So let's go ahead. We're on to Argent Adept. He gets one of his coolest abilities right now. This is not a video about Argent Adept, but I might as well go ahead and talk about tactics for other people while we're at it. I am going to put the instruments, because I don't need them right now. I'm going to put them... Oh, I don't actually have a... Yeah, it comes up often enough. I'm going to put them one in the trash and one at the bottom of my deck, because when you get the cards that let you pull instruments out, you can take them from anywhere. You can take them from the trash or the bottom of your deck. It doesn't matter. The melody one, it's cool for... Actually, I have both the cool melodies, so never mind. I am actually going to put that on the top of my deck so I draw it. And that one I'll let go in the trash. We'll go ahead and put this. I don't like this particular melody. If you're playing If you're playing Legacy, I guess it can be cool, but otherwise, this guy's job is not to deal damage. And I'm going to skip healing him because I want him down health the way I play him. But alright. Go through Greaser's turn. He's gonna hurt Benchmark a little bit. Not too bad. Alright. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and play the Don't Dismiss Anything. I like to play this blind. Just put your cards out. All right, so let's see here. Obviously, you want to kill Bugbear first because he gets more powerful the more people who go down. And I am going to take a chance that somebody else is going to draw a damaging card. So let's go ahead and put the top card of Benchmark's deck into play. Now, one of his softwares. Unfortunately, he's going to lose that right away. The way he plays, you'll see here in a minute. All right, well, he can heal himself here. All right, a few people have taken some damage. That wasn't the best. This is... Nope, again, we gotta skip that. This was not the best Don't Miss Anything I've ever played. So, well, that's a good one. There are a few of these that I wouldn't mind getting rid of. Oh, we want Benchmark to be able to deal damage, so go ahead and do that. Scholar. Oh, there we go. So, I mean, it's only going to be 1 point, but he'll be able to damage Glamour now. So I had to eat 2 points to be able to deal her 1, but whatever. That wasn't the whole point of that. Alright, so after we get through the operative's turn, we will get to see how Benchmark plays. And we'll get to see one of his things right off the bat. And actually, all 3 of those guys can heal relatively well. Well, Benchmark's not great at healing, but he does have the ability to heal. And some things that stack for healing, so it's pretty cool. All right, so Shunt Energy was destroyed. So let's go ahead and look at that. And this is on all software cards. At the start of your turn, if you have more software than hardware in play, and software are always ongoing, hardware are equipment, you draw a card and then destroy 2 of those software cards so that you'll have less software than hardware. And we lost the ability for Benchmark to deal himself 1 damage and then deal another target 4 damage. It's a pretty good one. So let's go ahead and see what he has here. I know which one I'm going to play, but we'll take a look at them all. Here is a software that gives you power. Most of the software gives you a new power. This one is discard a card. If you do, one other player may draw a card and use a power. That might not seem the coolest right away, but he does have a piece of equipment that's like a multi-rocket launcher that whenever you discard a card, you put it under the rocket launcher, and then he shoots them all out at the beginning of his next turn, or end of his turn, or beginning of his next turn. I can't remember which. All right, next card, a one-shot, deal 3 targets 2 energy, and then either play another card. Play another card, or return this card to your hand. So you can just do this over and over again. So that's a pretty sweet damaging ability right there. He's got a couple of those. Overload, overhaul loadout. This is one of those. Captain Cosmic has something like this where, except this is way better. You draw 3 cards, and then you can take any of the cards you've already played, pull them back into your hand, and then however many cards you pulled up, you can play that many cards. And they can be whatever combination you want. All right, this is the one I'm going to play. It's a hardware, so I'll get that out, and he gets damage reduction. And then finally, he's got a software. This is a good one. Select a target. The next damage dealt to that target is irreducible and increased by 2. Very good. All right, let's go ahead and put that out and play. And then his base power is draw a card and deal one target one energy. Not, I mean, it's pretty good, but not super impressive. But let's keep going on Bugbear. Although, this one's... no, we'll be okay. Let's go ahead and keep it up on Bugbear. Because I've got a way for her to make it so nobody deals damage. So, all right. Oh, this isn't good. Although I don't think we have anything that we have to worry about. Oh, his. Yeah, we do. All right. Oh, we got a lot. Put it on the top of the deck. I will... Yeah, he's got another one in his hand. Oh, except for I'm trying to get those out. Yeah, we'll just... Mortal Forms energy is fine. Oh, I hate when I start with a form in my hand. But that's not the form I want, so we're going to go ahead and put that in, and then he's going to go ahead and take the form of... Oh, apparently he had to discard the one I wanted. Shoot. Oh, should have paid attention to that. Oh, well. All right. After the environment turn, I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead a little bit until I get back to Benchmark, and then we'll check out another one of Benchmark's turns. All right, we're back around to Benchmark's turn, and we've got a couple of new cards to look at, so let's go ahead and pull those up. The first is that Inferno Missile Pod I was talking about. Basically, whenever you discard a card from your hand, you put it under this card, and then at the end of your turn, destroy all the cards under this card. Then Benchmark deals one target, one fire damage, X times, where X is the number of cards destroyed, which... you know, generally is only going to be 1 or 2 points a turn. However, he does have a software that allows him to increase the damage he does by 1, which would be by 1 every time he deals that. And he's got a number of cards that are like, after you do this, discard a card, or at the beginning of your turn, you know, discard a card, or as part of playing something, or as part of using a power, you can put them in. And then, not to mention, if other enemies cause him to do that, those will all go under the Inferno Missile Pod. So it could be a pretty good damage dealing thing. So let's go ahead. The next one, I believe, Legion Core Processor. At the start of your turn, you may either move one software card from your trash into your hand or use a power. So this is one of the ways he can use more than one power per turn. It's also makes it not so bad that if you have too many softwares, you have to destroy a couple, because this will let you get them back. And then this was a new software, and this is one of the few that doesn't grant a new power. This one, it's just you at the start of the turn, you either draw a card or play a software card. And then after that happens, if you have more software than hardware, you have to destroy one. I believe that's it for new ones. So what I'm going to do, I believe, let me check here. I actually like to build up on hardware first, so I'm going to go ahead and put this one here. This one's nice because I'll actually be able to keep getting those back, or use extra power, because soon here. You can't use the same power more than once, but next turn I'll be able to put a software out, so I'll be able to use his base power here, as well as use one of his software powers. And I'm going to start focusing on Breezer with him to get the bonus to damage, which is another thing where the Inferno rockets would be awesome. So this one helps deal with ongoings, so that's cool. All right, so there you go. There's another turn with him. I'm going to wait until I get into some more action before I worry about doing any more with him. So I will, be back in a moment. All right, we're to the next turn for Benchmark, and we're going to get to use our Legion Core Processor. I don't really want to use either of the powers he has out there right now. So let's go ahead and just grab this Shunt Energy power, I should say software, and go ahead and put that in. Let's review these cards. See, all right. I draw a card and use a power. No, we don't want to do that until we've got this thing out. And I'm not sure we've... Oh, here's the card that allows him to increase the damage he deals out. Let's go ahead... Excuse me. Let's go ahead and use... Let's put Shunt Energy out there. We're going to go ahead and use that. We deal ourselves a point of damage, but the chassis absorbs it, and we can get rid of this enticing target. Perfect. So yeah, being able to deal out 4 points of damage is nice. Oh, see, we're having to deal with it already. Her and her impromptu invention stuff. Alright, we're going to go ahead and let them destroy Shunt Energy, because we can get it back, and we'll let her destroy that because I wanted to change forms anyways. Oh, but we're going to lose one of these. Alright. There are ways to get the equipment back as well, so we'll go ahead and take that. Alright guys, we're back for Benchmark's 4th turn. We've not really got anything that we haven't seen before, so I'm not going to worry about that. What I am going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and put out my Inferno missile pods. I think I'm going to be in a position where I can discard stuff relatively frequently. Actually, I'll start looking on stuff like some of the ones that let you go ahead and discard stuff, so I'll get those out soon. So I can start piling those up, and we'll see how they play out. All right. Yeah, I think after the next turn or two, I'll start giving a little more in the way of evaluation of what I'm thinking so far on Benchmark. But, all right, so there's 4 turns down. We'll be back in just a minute for turn 5. All right, I'm about to make an interesting move that actually will affect Benchmarks. I wanted to go ahead and record this as well. I didn't mention the environment I'm playing in, which is the Celestial Tribunal, which technically is part of the mini pack 4 that came with Benchmark and Stuntman. But much like the villain, whose name escapes me at the moment, it was already out, so you could have already played with this. So I'm not sure what happened there, but yeah. One of the trials is Representative Earth brings another hero that is not the team that you're playing, puts them in play with 10 health, and if they ever drop below 10 health, then you lose. But something unique about this is one hero may use a power. That just doesn't affect the 5 members of your team. The 6th person can also use their power, which is very cool. So I can go, I'm going to have Omnitron X use his power, which was one that wasn't available to me before. And I can use him to have Benchmark put the top card of his deck in play, which is reveal cards until a hardware is revealed, put it into play, discard the other revealed cards, discard the other revealed cards. So we'll see. That should put them all underneath my missile launcher. And then I can take a hardware or software card from my trash and put it in my hand. So let's see if that works the way it reads on the card. So I had to go through all of those to get this hardware card. So let's go ahead and take a look. I can put one of these in my hand. I'm probably going to go... I've got a lot of hardware out. This is actually a pretty cool one. Whenever Benchmark would be dealt damage by a non-hero target with 2 or fewer hit points, destroy that target. That is pretty cool. So I think I'm going to put that in my hand. Now let's go ahead and look here. No, those discarded cards did not go in here. So whenever you discard a card from your hand. All right, so, well, that was interesting. But nonetheless, it's cool that I can use this guy out of play. And I got some cool stuff, so... But let's go ahead. I will move on to the Benchmark's next turn. All right, here we are at Benchmark's next turn. As you can see, we're balanced pretty well here. We've got 3 hardware to, so we can put out a couple more software and be okay. I was thinking about putting the countermeasures out, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and yeah, I don't really have anybody I'm worried about at that level. I'm gonna go ahead and put this ally matrix, which lets me discard a card and have one other player draw a card and then use a power. I think that could be pretty cool. Put him more in a support role for the moment. And yeah, so let's go ahead and the enemy don't have a lot in the way of ongoings that I'm worried about. So what we're going to do is we're going to discard a card, which will oh, that one. Let's go with this. At the end of your turn, discard the top card of your deck. Then you may put a software card from your trash into play. Wow. All right, I'm going to discard Flyby. And then I'll put that in the missile launcher. And then I'm going to have Naturalist use a power. And I'm going to change forms back into my damage dealing form, which is the Crocodile. I need to start piling some damage. I've kind of dragging the game out just to be able to show how stuff is. All right. Now I've got to trash something else, which we're going to go ahead and do that. Put it under the missile pod. And then whenever Benchmark uses a power, you may discard a card. You don't have to. If you do, Benchmark deals 1 target, 1 projectile damage. So as much as I'd like to get rid of this guy, I need to get rid of Bugbear first. So let's go ahead and pile some damage on him. And then these 3, I am going to put these on Greaser though, because each one will be +1 against him. And so that will deal considerably more damage that way. So here we go. Boom, each missile is 2 damage, so a quick 6 damage against Greaser there. Awesome. So, all right, I'm gonna keep going here. Overall, Benchmark is cool. He's got some cool combinations, some fun combinations. The problem is that in a random team, he may not have time to build up to those cool combinations. On the other hand, if you build a team, if you build a team from scratch, it's pretty easy to win almost regardless of what else is going on. So it's an interesting conundrum. I don't need him to take care of those. We'll go ahead and get rid of that. So I don't know really what to say about him. On one sense, I think he's a fun character to play, and he can be very challenging for those players who really like a challenge when they're playing. Figuring out how you want to play him and who he plays well with can be very cool. If you are able to custom build a team around him, if you want to put him on like a super team, he could be very good in that. Especially if you build a super team that you just, most super teams are built to win within maybe 5 or 6 turns, I would say. Not too much longer than that. So building him up in that amount of time may be kind of tough. So I really don't know what I would say. He's kind of a mid-tier character. He can be very fun to play, but he's not necessarily the best out there. No, we're not going to draw any cards. So Yeah, so I don't know. We're gonna fill it. We're gonna finish out the rest of the game. I will continue coming back and taking a look at his turns, but that's my current take on this right now. Is that yeah, he's a pretty fun character. I don't know that I would play him too often. I'm not necessarily a big, not that I'm not a big fan of guys who take a little while to build up, but there are a lot of them, and you on a team game you only have 5 guys. Well, you can only put up to 5 guys, and I have 5 people I would put on a team before him. Let's put it that way. All right, guys, we're here back at the start of Benchmark's 6th turn. So let's go ahead and see what we've got going on here that we can maybe work with. We've still got we've got 2 hardware. We lost 1, destroyed by Ermine. So let's go ahead and we need to start eliminating some of these guys up here. So I'm going to go ahead and go with the threat neutralizer here, which is software. So we click on that and destroy an environment or a card with 1 HP, and then you destroy this card. So it's a one-shot basically. We're going to go ahead and destroy an environment, and we will destroy this guy here. And that threat neutralizer gets destroyed. To draw a card, we got nothing in our Inferno launcher. So that was a pretty minimal turn. Man, Ermine is just racking this stuff up here. All right. See, at this point, his stuff is probably, well, not all of it, but we're gonna go ahead and get rid of the Inferno pods. We're not getting a lot of use out of it, so go ahead and take that out and see what we can do here. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up here. For the most part, I'm gonna skip to the end and see where we are at the end of this battle. Give you kind of my last few words on Benchmark. So let's do that. All right, I'm wrapping things up here with this game of the Sentinels, and I'll tell you what, it was a close one. I kind of had to. Naturalists had to get KO'd for me to get things back on track, because this environment is crazy. Deals a ton of damage if you can't manage it. But I did manage to once. Let's go ahead and look at these. Once Naturalist is KO'd, one of his powers is to make you guys immune to environment targets. So that helped me out there. The environment then killed some of the villains for me. Unfortunately, Benchmark got KO'd here, but one thing to keep in mind for characters to determine whether they're cool or not is to see what their KO'd abilities are, and his are amazing. A player can play a card, a hero can use a power, or one player may draw a card. Those are all really good abilities. I mean, I don't know when you would ever use draw when you have the other 2 as possibilities, but nonetheless, very cool. For that, in that sense, you don't obviously want to count on that happening. Let's go ahead and finish this guy off with, why is it only doing 1? What happened to, that was weird. I should have healed 2. So apparently the environment's going to kill him for me. But there you go. So overall, is Benchmark is he a good character? Yes. Is he a great character? No, I don't think so. Much like Argent Adept, he just takes a little too much build up to get him really cool. He definitely needs synergy with other characters to really help him out. Like on a team with Legacy, he would be amazing, but most people are on a team with Legacy, because he's got a lot of abilities that let him damage multiple targets and let him do it over and over again. So if you have people like Legacy to buff him up, maybe people like Omnitron X to let him play extra cards, then yeah, he can really deal a lot of damage. He has a software that lets him do 1 point of damage to 5 different targets, with Legacy bumping that to +1, maybe +2 if he's got the I forget what the ability is. He has an ongoing that does that. I think it's motivation, or that's not it, but it's something along those lines. He could be doing 3 damage to 5 different targets. That would be awesome. He's got that flyby that he can keep putting back in his hands. They're like, yeah, there's 2 damage to 3 different targets. With Legacy, 3 damage to 3 different targets, maybe 4 damage to 3 different targets. So he can be very cool. He can be very good at dealing damage. He has a few ways to mitigate and ongoings and environment targets. So he is a fairly good all-around character, but he really depends on the rest of his team. Most people do. But there are some people, like Legacy, like Scholar, like Tachyon, who are pretty much good on any team you put them on. You can't say the same for Benchmark. So, all right, guys, there you go. I'm sorry if this ended up being a rather long video. It just kept going and going. But there you are. That is Sentinels of the Multiverse character review for Mini Pack 4 Benchmark. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please help us out. We just started the Grizzled Warmaster as a new channel. So please hit that subscribe button. Click the bell for notifications when we put new content up. If you would, please share this with other people who may not only be interested in computer game videos, but also some tabletop board games, card games, role-playing games, and one of the, probably the biggest topic we'll have on the channel is miniature wargaming. So if you know people who are in any of those environments, like any of those games, please share this with them. Let them know about us. Help us build that subscriber count and get some views going. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. Have a great night.